It's Thursday, March 6th.
He said that he was not pleased, as you said. He said it's not good enough.
Not good enough. Prime Minister Trudeau and President Trump hold a high-stakes call in the ongoing trade war. A senior government source saying Canada would only drop its countermeasures if the U.S. lifts all tariffs.
You go in and do the best you can, but you don't know if you're going to get a tap on the shoulder.
There is some temporary relief, however. A 30-day delay on auto tariffs doesn't do much to clear up a cloudy future for workers here in Canada.
We're excited to go to a beach and have some fun in the sun.
But not to the U.S. More and more Canadians are taking out their anger over tariffs by changing their travel plans.
I had to look for parking for about an hour. It's kind of getting ridiculous.
Weeks, not days. That's the time frame for people hoping to get their cars out of a partially collapsed Ottawa parkade. Stay with us, Canada. Your morning starts right now. Morning, Canada, and welcome to Your Morning. I'm Anne-Marie Mediwake.
Hey, everybody. The one and only Lindsey Deluce is off. I'm Teddy Wilson. Good morning.
That's right. And good morning. I'm Winston in for Kelsey. You're back.
I'm back. Hello.
Yes,
You had
one
day off, and you're back again. We love it.
I'm back. I'm like a rash. I'm tough to get rid of.
You're like tariffs. You're tough to get rid of.
That's yes. We haven't had this combo in a while. The
No,
three of
not
us,
for a long time. This will be a good show.
Oh, awesome. Well, let's turn to the top news stories we're following this morning. And speaking of tariffs, we're getting some new details on Wednesday's phone call between Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and U.S. President Donald Trump.
He said it's not good enough. He told Prime Minister Justin Trudeau that directly. The call ended in a somewhat friendly manner.
So a source tells CTV News the U.S. is proposing dropping some tariffs, this if Canada stops all of our retaliatory measures. The response from Prime Minister Trudeau was that Canada will drop its countermeasures only after all U.S. tariffs are lifted. That's the same message given by Ontario Premier Doug Ford.
Spoke to the Prime Minister earlier. We're on the same page, zero tariffs, and we are not going to budge.
So the White House did announce a 1-month delay on auto tariffs while saying President Trump is open to hearing more about exemptions. As for those reciprocal tariffs, the White House says they are going ahead on April 2nd with no exemptions. A 30-day delay on auto tariffs is not much relief for workers worried about their jobs.
We were kind of hoping we were getting to the end of the tunnel. We could see a light, but now the light's starting to dim again with the tariffs, and we don't know what's going to happen.
According to the White House, President Trump agreed to the delay after speaking with the heads of Ford, GM, and Stellantis. They're getting the extra time to start working on President Trump's demands to bring auto jobs back to the United States. That demand puts more than 100,000 auto industry jobs in our country at risk. Cars are Canada's second biggest export to the United States after oil. Prime Minister Trudeau and Canada's premiers have agreed to reduce interprovincial trade barriers, this in response to the trade war started by U.S. President Trump.
I expect that we'll be able to share with you very shortly the work that's been happening nationally on that, and British Columbia will be a part of that. We've been out very early supporting that. We've always supported getting rid of these internal trade barriers, and we continue to advocate for that at the national level.
Statement from the Prime Minister's office says, in part, all First Ministers agreed that now is the time to take meaningful action to further liberalize and support the Canadian market so that goods, services, and workers can move freely. Now, as part of this agreement, the Premiers have agreed that certified professionals in one jurisdiction in Canada should be able to work anywhere in the country. While both the feds and the provinces are hoping to have a Canada-wide credential recognition plan in place by June 1st.
Saskatchewan Liquor and Gaming Authority will stop purchasing U.S.-produced alcohol, and we'll stop selling any U.S. alcohol that we currently have in stock.
We'll just have to drink a bit more BC wine and Alberta craft beer and spirits, and that's just fine with us.
It's a wonderful order. It's a beautiful order. This order is pulling American booze off the Liquor Mart shelves.
So Canada's Premier is also targeting U.S. alcohol. Meanwhile, Alberta Premier Danielle Smith also called the actions from south of the border a, quote, betrayal. All of Canada's premiers are now saying no to American booze on liquor store shelves. And that's spelling bad news for some American liquor companies. The CEO of Brown-Forman, which makes Jack Daniels, saying this is, quote, worse than a tariff because it's literally taking your sales away, completely removing our products from the shelves. He also called it a disproportionate response to Trump's tariffs. The trade war is giving Canadians reason to rethink their travel plans.
We do not like his disrespect for Canada, for our Prime Minister, for our resources, all these claims, he doesn't need what we have.
That's the Gleiser family from Ontario, and they had plans to spend March break in Myrtle Beach. They're now heading for Mexico, and they were willing to lose their deposit to make that change. And they're not alone. Travel agency Flight Center is reporting a 40% drop in bookings to the U.S. in February alone compared to last year. This as 1 in 5 customers who have booked a trip to the United States in the last 3 months have now canceled. Canadians are turning more to destinations like the Dominican Republic and Jamaica, as well as attractions here within Canada. WestJet has announced plans to change the maximum allowable size of carry-on bags. The new maximum size will add an inch of height to current dimensions, but take away an inch of width. As of May 6th, this new maximum size will be 22 inches by 14 inches by 9 inches. This accounts for wheels and handles. WestJet says the move will increase overall storage capacity and help streamline check-in and boarding times. They also say they'll keep accepting both the current and new maximum baggage sizing until May 6th. There are several new cases of measles being reported in Ontario. Niagara Region Public Health is reporting 3 new confirmed infections. Officials say the cases are all in children who are not vaccinated. They're now trying to identify anyone who may have been exposed to the virus. There's also 9 new cases confirmed in Eastern Ontario. Symptoms include fever, runny nose, cough, drowsiness, and red eyes. Health experts are urging people to make sure they're up to date on their measles vaccinations. Well, it's now been a week since a downtown Ottawa parking garage partially collapsed, and it's likely to be weeks until the cars trapped inside can be freed.
Life has to go on, so we're using a rental vehicle right now, and we're paying for it out of our pocket because our insurance can't give us any sort of support because there's no claim on the car.
Tim Sheffield's car is one of those trapped inside. The musician's favorite Stetson hat and jacket he wears on stage also in the car. The collapse is taking away hundreds of parking spots in downtown Ottawa. As for getting the 50 or so trapped vehicles out, a temporary ramp made from shipping containers is a possibility. The property owner also says they're still evaluating several options and continue to anticipate this work will take 1 to 2 weeks. All right, we're about to show you a supersonic photograph. Sounds pretty cool, right? It is. This is the moment the sound barrier was broken by a jet. Wild. It happened on February 10th. The first U.S. civil supersonic jet completed its second flight at speeds exceeding Mach 1. NASA teams were on the ground using specialized photography to capture the shock waves. So as the aircraft flew in front of the sun, the team documented changing airspeeds.